Hello and welcome to today's RV Living Show. We're going to be talking about our favorite campground membership, Harvest Host.
Yeah, be sure to hang around so you can learn more about this amazing camping experience and how you can save on your membership costs.
The RV life. We're surrounded with the message that it's a life you have to wait until retirement to have and a life that only some can afford. And while it might be reality for those who want to believe that's true, we're on a mission to change that mindset and help people to stop wondering and start wandering to create a life they love.
Join us in conversations about how to design your RV life. We're Bryan Luann Street, and this is the RV Living Show.
A big welcome to all of you who are joining with us live today, and we are excited to talk about our favorite campground membership.
That's right.
Those of you who are going to be watching on the replay after, welcome. And if you've had a Harvest Host experience before, or you have questions about Harvest Host, you can put them in the comments. And those of you who are here with us live, let us know in the comments who's here with us, and if you've ever used Harvest Host, or if you're going to be learning about it for the first time. So, why we're obsessed about Harvest Hosts and why you should be too.
That's right.
So, we're going to be talking about this whole Harvest Host experience. And so, Bryan, what is Harvest Host?
Well, Harvest Host is a campground membership you can purchase that offers you a unique camping experience. What we like about them, they're spread out all over the country to start with.
Yeah, there's 207 unique locations.
207 locations, like 570 wineries, 238 breweries. They got like 488 farms and 326 museums and attractions.
I mean, that's just kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, but it's so cool. When we first heard about this, we were really kind of enamored with the idea. It's like, what do you mean we can go camp there?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And also, as mentioned, it's got golf courses on there too. 385 golf courses.
Yeah, they did that not too long ago, where
Yeah.
you can add that to your membership. So the reason we wanted to do this episode on the RV Living Show is because their prices are going up in April. And if you're a camper like we are, and you want to save some money, this is the best time to get in, because we're going to be giving you a special code later that you're going to be able to save even more money and lock in your lower price as you move forward in using your campground or your Harvest Host membership.
That's right.
So, as Bryan said, these are unique camping experiences. This isn't your normal campground, right? But there are a few things that you have to think about when you are going to be using your membership.
Yeah, Harvest Hosts, they really don't take reservations. So when you're traveling, you have to call ahead, like the day you're going to arrive, maybe 2 days before. All of this information is on the website. But you want to call ahead and tell them that you're coming, and they give you a lot of times specific instructions on where to park and how to come into, whether it be a farm or a brewery, wherever you're coming into. A couple things you need to know: that you must be self-contained.
Yeah, you have to have your own water and black tank and your own indoor cooking.
Right.
Facilities. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. But so they really frown upon you like setting up your whole spread outside and grilling and having. You can put a couple chairs, because that's okay. But
yeah,
that whole idea of setting up your whole spread is they want you to be able to be self-contained, have your own bathroom, your own tanks, your own water tanks, and so basically it's boondocking. Right, yeah. But it's in cool places.
Right. Like you said, you're not setting up your your grill outside. You're going to be just cooking on the inside. And what's really nice about it is that like you said, you got to be self-contained. We always generally we could put out our slides. There always seems to be room for that.
And I think it depends on the location. So it's really important that when you join the membership, that when you're booking your location, you read it as to see can you put your jacks down? Can you put your slides out? Is there enough room for that? Because if that's something that's important to you, then maybe that's not a location you want to stay at. So.
Right, exactly. And So once you find that location and go to it, like I said, we're going to talk more about it, but it's a fantastic experience.
So we call it the RVer's secret gem because it's so cool that you can pull up to like a winery. So let's use the winery for example. We actually did a winery recently, and we pulled in, and the whole premise of the membership is it's free camping. Okay, so you're paying, and I think the membership right now is $79. It's going up to $99. If you want to add golf, it's $40 more. But if you pull in and you want to camp there, the idea is that you're gonna have a reciprocal understanding with them. So if it's a winery, you're gonna want to go in and do a wine tasting or buy a bottle of wine. And so you may be paying for your site in trade instead of in hard cash. But I mean, the cost is minimal, and it's such a great way to infuse experiences into your travels.
That's right. And plus, you get something for your money.
You do. You get,
It's
yes.
it's a good.
I mean,
deal.
I guess technically you get something for your money when you're paying $45 at a campground. You're getting water and sewer and electricity. But in this case, you're getting an experience, you're making memories, you're trying new things, you're supporting local lifestyles that you would normally not be doing. And so it's a really cool membership. We encourage you to check it out. But we're going to tell you a few more things about why we like Harvest Hosts.
Yes, we like Harvest Hosts for when we're traveling, especially when we a couple of day trip somewhere. If we can find a Harvest Host to stop at, it breaks up our day. It's very nice to stop at one of these places because it's not your typical campground. We stay in campgrounds all the time. So going into another campground is nothing exciting. It's just a place to stay for the night. But going to a Harvest Host and not really kind of getting to experience what they have, like a winery or even a farm or a museum, that is just such a different experience altogether that it adds a lot of value to your camping.
Yeah, in fact, one winery we went to, they actually had full hookups. Well, not full. They had electricity, right? They didn't have water and sewer.
They may have had it, but
I don't know. But they had hookups. So the owner of this vineyard had actually been an avid RVer, and so he made sure that when you could stay there, you could hook up, which was cool. But not all of them are that way. So, that whole idea of getting there and experiencing something different that other people have to offer is such an intriguing idea. It's also a great way to practice your boondocking. For those who are new to boondocking, this is a great way to try it out.
Yeah, one night anybody can do that.
Yeah, so you would learn, running your generator. Oh, speaking of that, so forget about what I just said about the boondocking, but the idea of if you're always camping in a campground, you may not always run your generator. This actually could help you run your generator. You could not practice that, but exercise it, because I know you have to run it every once in a while for good maintenance and that kind of thing.
There again, yes, check the website to make sure it's acceptable to run.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, every location is unique, and so that experience is unique.
Right.
So we did add the golf part to our membership when we purchased it. We have not done a golf course yet, but my thing was, well, we don't golf. For you avid golfers, this is like a gem. Like, you could totally pull in, play around a golf, camp for the night, and head off the next day, and you would just think that's amazing. And so we actually did an interview with Joel of Harvest Hosts last year, and we asked him about the golf, what is the intrigue there for people who don't golf? And he says, well, the food at the clubhouses is amazing. They usually have really great chefs, and the restaurants are really beautiful, and they're always out overlooking the scenery of the golf course. And so even if you don't golf, consider adding the golf package, because you could end up finding some really cool destinations and you know, maybe you want to learn to play golf. That would be a great way. You could go in there and, you know, camp for the night and maybe take a lesson. So
That's right.
It's always something to spice up your RVing, right? And that's how we feel too. It's out of the normal rut. Like Bryan said, we're always in a campground. So this is something and that we really enjoy, and it also breaks up our travel days. So a lot of times we'll be heading back to Asheville because, of course, we've got grandchildren and children there. And so that seems to be a destination we end up a couple times a year. And so whenever we go that way, we're usually traveling between 2 and 3 days consecutively to get there from whatever location we were at. And it's just an awesome way to break that up and have something different. We stayed at a brewery. Why don't you talk to them about that?
Yeah, that was great. Actually, it was a place. There was 3 breweries there.
There were 3 breweries. Yeah,
and they had this section. They let us pull into a parking lot, and it was fantastic because they had pizza, kind of foods there. I think we ate a pizza there.
We did. It was homemade pizza. Yeah, they had
great food. If you like beer, it was a great beers. It was a great experience. I love that place.
Yeah, and so if you like to drink, then that's a great place. You go and have a couple beers. You just walk back to your RV. If you don't like to drink, they usually have food. So don't cross breweries or wineries off your list. They could have other things that they sell in their vineyard, even if you don't drink. The experience of it is a really nice thing.
Yeah, you know, one thing I do want to mention, if you're thinking of doing a harvest host, that you want to get there early. Especially before things close, like if they might be closing up at 5 or 6, whatever they close their store. Get there early enough till you can spend some time there and see what they have. If it's a museum, maybe you want to plan and be there early enough to maybe take a walk through the museum or whatever you want to do. Especially if you want to play around the golf, you want to plan for that.
Right.
You know, so
or ask the location if you can start off first thing in the morning if you're able to stay long enough. You know, you're in the right spot to stay long enough to play around a golf. The thing about the brewery was that we needed to be in there by 4 o'clock in the afternoon because their parking lot fills up. And then our RV, we couldn't get in there. So we got in there around 4, and then people started coming, you know, between 5 and 6. People were getting off work and they were coming in there. But then we were in our spot, and we didn't have to worry about parking or moving around cars or pulling into a place. We actually got there first. Yeah. And a lot of the breweries are that way.
Yeah, you get there first, and that way you don't have to worry about parking.
So we are going to tell you about a great way to get a discount with our special code for Harvest Hosts and lock in your price. But first, we're going to let you learn a little bit about our complete RV travel planner. This episode of the RV Living Show is brought to you by the Complete RV Travel Planner, the only travel planner made specifically for the RV lifestyle. Get yours today at rvtravelplanner.com. So the reason why we wanted to plug our travel planner a little bit is because it's a great way to record your travel plans, and Harvest Host can be one of your travel plans. You could even do a weekend of Harvest Hosts. And let's say you're a part-time RVer, you're not full-timing, and you want to just do some really neat location kind of things. You could, you know, take your RV to somewhere close to you and camp for the weekend for a unique experience and go the next night to a different one. There are so many locations, I'm sure you're bound to find one near you. The website is super great in helping you figure that out.
You know, one other thing I want to mention is that most of the time Harvest Hosts is generally a one overnight.
Yeah.
They do mention if you possibly could stay a second night, but you would want to make sure that you cleared that with the host, you know, before you actually arrive.
For sure.
For sure. You know, just be upfront and tell them what you would like to do and see if they can accommodate you.
Yeah, so we like to say don't just stay at any old campground when you can have a memorable experience. That has been something that we tossed around after we were talking about Harvest Hosts. It's like, yes, any old campground, but you really can turn your camping into these memorable things. So, so we're going to talk a little bit about how to get Harvest Host. So because we have an affiliate with Harvest Host, Joel has given us a special link, and I put it right there on the screen, where when you join today or before April 1st, you will be able to use this link to get 15% off their current prices. So as I said before, their prices are going up in April, and right now they're $79 or $119 for the golf. So if you sign up right now, when you click this link, you will apply a 15% off code that's on the page after you click the link, and you will save 15% off your membership. And then going forward, you've locked in any price increases, and you will stay at the rate that you actually locked in when you joined.
Yeah, $40 more to get the golf courses is really, that's a really good deal.
Well, yeah, and it provides such I use the word unique a lot, but a varied ability. So if you can't find a farm or a winery, there's probably a golf course, in where you are and where you're traveling and where you want to stay. So that's a great way to do that, is to look and see. And if you don't have the golf course membership, you're not going to be able to do the golf courses. So that's just kind of how we thought about it when we started thinking about paying the little bit extra for the year, because, just in case, what if we wanted to stay, but it didn't have a museum where we wanted to go, but the golf course was there, then that was something that we could try to do. In fact, it's on our list this year. We want to try a golf course, so we can speak to this part of staying at Harvest Host when we're not avid golfers. For those of you who are avid golfers, you're going to love it.
Yeah, well, actually, we are going to stay at one. I didn't tell you yet, but I have plans when we leave here. We're going to a golf course.
Oh, there you go. Okay, surprise, surprise. Okay. So yeah, be sure to check it out at our link and save your 15% so that you can have a great year of travel this year. Where it's the middle of March, we're all getting anxious to get on the road, get out of this cold weather is going away, so it's going to be exciting to get going again and really start to travel, right?
Yeah, if you go to the Harvest Host website, you can see and just look at their map and see how many locations there are throughout the United States, and look at all the opportunities you are to stay. Some of them may be, like if you're on an interstate, some may be off the road a little ways. So like for one example, we stayed at one, I think it's in Alabama, and
I wanted to go. She
wanted to go, but I looked at it and I said, well, that's 15 miles off the interstate. I didn't really want to go there. But she talked me into it. We went there, and it was the best one of ever. You just don't know.
It was a very great experience. Watched the sunset with a bottle of wine. It was just a beautiful, beautiful location. So it's worth trying. It really is.
Yes.
Okay, so next week on the RV Living Show, we are going to be giving you some tips for going paperless in your RV. So if you are struggling with the paper piles around, especially if you're a full-timer, you're going to want to come back and check this out. Even if you're part-time and you struggle with paper, this is something that you may get a couple of tips from. So we're going to be doing that next week. Tips for going paperless in your RV. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, we'll see you next week, and we're going to do those tips about being paperless, so we hope to see you there. You guys have a great week.
Take care. Thank you for joining us for the RV Living Show. We hope this episode helps you in creating an RV life you love.
Until next time, we encourage you to stop wandering and start wandering.